episodes of horror with Donna and Eric. I'm Donna,
And I'm Eric.
and with us today we have Michelle Burgan. Welcome to the show.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, Michelle will be at Texas AuthorCon and Book Festival in Richardson, Texas this July. Um, so yeah, it's great to have you on the show. And you know, we like to break the ice with some fun questions. So the first
Okay.
one we're going to ask you is Jason, Michael, or Freddie?
Freddie, always.
He's very popular.
He is
Always
very
Freddie.
popular.
Yeah.
Yep. He's so funny and personable. The others don't really talk. I don't want to say they don't have a personality. I mean, Michael doesn't, but Jason kind of does have a
Yeah,
personality.
a little
Yeah.
bit. But
Depending on the movie.
Freddie
Yeah,
was
true.
always my guy.
Do you have a favorite?
Um, I think it's 4 or 5 where like the guy's laying in the waterbed and he comes up through the waterbed with gloves like a shark.
Okay.
That was always my favorite one.
Yeah, me and Eric.
That's the same one with the pizza, right? The soles are the little meatballs and he stabs them with the
Yeah, I
thing.
think
Yeah.
so.
I think that's 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was always my favorite. I watched that one and one a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm partial to one and three.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I definitely get the allure of 4. 4 is right on that sweet spot, right before they kind of just started selling Freddie out to just make a buck. And
Yeah, kind of.
yeah. But yeah, 4 still has a lot of interesting things. It has the cockroach kill.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of really fun, cool kills in that one. And I think that's one of the ones where they really let Freddie shine,
Yeah.
with the one-liners. He started in 3 and they really lean into it with 4. So 3 and 4 really give you more of that personality. The original, he's more of the killing machine like you would see with Michael
Well,
and
and they're also
Jason.
kind of, in one, it's still, just getting that foundation laid for the whole movie set.
You
So,
you definitely can tell that it's a Wes Craven
oh,
uh
absolutely. Yeah.
the first one, because the humor, when he has humor in his movies or his franchises, it's always someone else that's written it.
Yeah.
Scream, if you didn't have Kevin Williamson, you wouldn't have the humor in Scream like you do. And 3 has got, I wish I could think off the top of my head, I can't think of who it was, but somebody else wrote and directed it. He was just a producer. So you could tell when somebody else is getting a hold of that. But because Craven is all about the scare, and that's what I
Right.
love about him too. So
Yeah. He is all about the scare and he's all about like kind of getting in your head and making you like really think about what's going on.
yeah. Yeah, if there is a director that kind of would quote unquote splatter punk, it would be Craven, because he is very, I mean, even on, feel like there's a message in every one of his movies, even if he's not trying to hit us over the head with it. There is something there.
Right.
So
Yep. So now werewolves or vampires?
That's a hard one. Um, so my alter ego is a hybrid, so I guess I could say both.
Oh, okay.
My alter ego is part vampire and part shifter. So
and when you
Oh,
say shifter, is that a specific kind of do they shift into something specifically, or they can shift into multiple things?
this
Or
one can
does
shift into multiple things.
Okay. Cool.
So
that's very interesting.
Yeah, it's always cool when they kind of give you a broader, it's not just hammered into like it's a
werewolf. Yeah.
werewolf or coyote, or like you said, cat.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool if they can kind of flow into different things, because you really opens up the story that way.
Yeah. So my very, very first book I ever wrote, that's where that alter ego came from. And she was just an all around shapeshifter. She could turn into any animal. And then she runs into a vampire, gets bit, so she becomes a hybrid kind of thing. But that one still has a lot of plot holes and a bunch of, because it was the one I was learning with. And so I kind of put it to the side and did the one that just recently came out. And so, yeah,
So, are you a fan of Underworld?
I am.
Okay. It kind of feels like usually we ask, when they pick vampire or werewolf, and we ask them their favorite movie. But when you say hybrid, the first thing I think of is Underworld. So,
That's exactly what I was thinking too. Yeah.
Which I love
Yeah,
those movies. I think they're fun. I thought when they came out, it was fresh. It was,
it was
we
new.
had, yeah, we hadn't
Yeah,
seen anything like that, and it had captured that directorial style of the time. It might feel
right.
a little dated now, but at the time it was very eye-catching and stood out. So
Yeah, it did.
Now, do you have? I know you said you just recently started getting into reading horror.
Mhm.
From what you've read, do you have a favorite?
Well, I've only read through Melissa Allgood's short stories, Everyone Must Die series. And there was actually a couple in there that were really funny that really spoke to me. One of them was called Wednesday, and it's a short story about Death, who lives in everyday life, and she does a mundane secretarial job kind of thing. And then
Cool.
when she has to go to work as Death, people notice her. Like you don't really notice her standing next to you until it's your time. And so I kind of liked that because, um, a lot of people don't pay attention to things. Just you're going about your day, and then all of a sudden you just notice this person standing next to you, and you have no idea why all of a sudden you noticed her, and it's because you're about to die. It's your turn. So yeah, I kind of like that story, and she had a cute cat in that story too. Um, and then one of her last ones, it's called I think it was called My Imaginary Son Thomas.
Ooh,
And that one I liked a lot. It reminded me of a lot of my son. And so I really did like that one. And then my next one up is one by Holly Ray Garcia, and it's called Come Join the Murder.
yeah, Holly's great.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I haven't read much of Holly. I just read her Battle Shrimp.
Are you in the Houston area?
I am. I met Holly at the Lit Java event in November.
Mhm.
And so we got to talking there. And so we traded out books, and that was one of the books that I thought was interesting looking. And so she's up next for my horror read.
Very cool. So you didn't read King when you were younger or
Well,
any?
yeah, I mean, but those are usually what everybody reads.
Yeah.
Stephen King was one of my mom's favorites, so I've either seen the movie or heard most of the book my whole life.
Sure.
Yeah. Yep, that's all we have. Um, we found that's a common theme um,
Yeah.
throughout all the interviews and even just the people we know personally. We found that it's a pretty common theme that Stephen King is the man, and been people have been reading him since they were too young to read him.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Even people that don't like Stephen King, there isn't a person that hasn't read at least one Stephen King. So
Right, right.
it's funny.
Um, so we usually ask about your favorite scary movie, and I'm gonna assume it's Nightmare on Elm Street 4.
Yes. I mean, I love a good scary movie in general, but Freddy was always mine as a growing up. Um, but you got other good thrillers out there too that I like. And I when it comes to Halloween though, my all-time favorite version is the Rob Zombie one. And that one killed it. It was even to me, it was even better than the original one. And so that one's a good scary one if you're looking for, something to watch on a Friday night.
Yeah, that one's very divisive in the community. So you either
Yeah.
love it or you hate it.
Oh, I
So
loved it. But I love
Yeah.
Rob Zombie, so
Yeah, I
yeah,
think with most of his movies, it's like that. You either really love it or you really hate it. It's
yeah.
not like, oh, it was okay. It's it's black or white.
Yeah, it kind of is. Um, but it's kind of that way with his music too. And so, like I said, I love his music and pretty much always have like what I've watched of his. I think A House of a Thousand Corpses is the first one, and that was the only one I never really watched all the way through. I always kept getting interrupted, and then I would forget and never went back to it. So I need to get that one caught up. But
yeah, that one's funny because it's more of his, I don't know, almost paying homage to all the different movies that's in that same vein. I don't
Hmm.
feel like you really get a true taste of Rob Zombie as a director until you watch the sequel and then the movies that come after that. I mean, I love House of a Thousand Corpses. I mean, I think it's a really good movie for what it is, but you can tell the influences are pushing, are kind of playing ahead of what his own choices might have been. Um,
Right.
but yeah, no, he's a very interesting director, and Donna and I did a comparison of the original Halloween with the Rob Zombie Halloween, and did a whole episode on that. So it was a fun little project we did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great
Uh,
because I hadn't really seen a lot of Rob Zombie movies. I'd seen Lords of Salem, um, and then the House of a Thousand Corpses. I had started it and stopped it a bunch of times,
yeah.
and then of course the Halloween. Um, all right, so let's get to talking about you. What genre do you like to write in, or what is your preferred genre?
Um, well, I write in supernatural and sci-fi erotica. Um, and then my book that just came out is a sci-fi erotic romance book. So it's set in space, 105 years in the future from 2032. And the characters are just starting to wake up. They don't know what's going on. And come to find out, they had been sent into space to try to preserve something of the human race because in 2032, two of the big like science companies were having breakthroughs. One of them was a pharmaceutical company that created a fountain of youth vaccine, and they were getting to do human trials. And another one was a cryogenic sleep program that finally like had a really good breakthrough of, actually being able to keep people in cryo, not age, not like they perfectly stayed the same, and they could sleep for however long they needed to. They also had asked for human volunteers. The ones that were the pharmaceutical company, the Fountain of Youth vaccine started mutating and creating vampires. So the vampires started trying to take over the world. The cryogenic sleep program volunteers got shot into space because the governments of the world decided that their last hope was to try to nuclear bomb the vampires that had been taking over and see if they couldn't clean them out because there was just no other choice to get rid of them. And so that's why they wound up in space. Now they're trying to figure out like how are they going to get back home? Like what does the earth even look like now? Is there any body left? Any animals, places? They have no idea. They're trying to use the ship to discover, what's going on Earth. They're trying to learn and figure out like, well, building new society kind of with what they have, the people that they have. So they're finding love, creating their own little groups and communities and that kind of stuff, plus trying to survive whatever space is throwing at them, like chronoclouds and asteroid storms. And yeah,
Wow.
then they got two people on the ship that are trying to take over the ship and causing problems, trying to hack it, trying to, you know, just become the new leaders because they think they can do it better than the people who are leading.
It's a lot
Wow.
going on.
Yeah, that is a lot going on.
I know it kind of reminds me of Stargate Odyssey, the last Stargate they did. They only did 2 seasons of it, but that was them trapped on a ship, and it had a
Yeah.
lot of that infighting and stuff. And that's fascinating. That's one of my favorite shows.
So
Um,
I pulled a little Star Trek, a little Expanse. Those are some of my favorites. A little bit of the 100,
mhm.
um, that kind of stuff. Because in book two, they're back on Earth, and it is very post-apocalyptic. That they're having to take a skeleton of like a town to try to figure out what's going on. It's all based here in Texas, of course. When they finally land, they're going to be down in Corpus, and so but yeah, that's pretty much what's going on. And I let the spice kind of just happen. Well, hopefully it's organic
Mhm.
sounding as you're reading through. Nothing sounds too forced. That way, it's not just about the sci-fi and it's not just about the spice. I'm hoping that I blended it well enough that it keeps multiple people intrigued in what's going on in the story.
And it sounds like a lot of it could lean towards horror. I mean, honestly. A lot of that is
Yeah.
kind of horrific ideas and plot points. So I think it would probably interest everybody that watches our show for sure.
And then it has an AI too that some of the people who have read through it that left like reviews and stuff, they're like, it's kind of creepy because the AI is just kind of always there because he has
Yep.
his own body. When I was writing it, he fought me tooth and nail to get his own body. So I gave in and let him have his own body. And so he's always just popping up everywhere, like just out of the blue. He'll just be there. And you're like, wait, where did you come from?
So to you, in your mind, you know, when you say erotica, you write erotica. Um, to some people, erotica just equals a romance type deal. So
Right.
what's in your mind? Can you explain to you what it means to be a romance novel and an erotica novel? Is it just the level of spice in the book, or is it more than that?
From what I understand, yes, it's definitely the level of spice. Most romances, from what I understand, and from what I've read and the research I've done when I started trying to have to put this in a category of, who was going to be reading it, it the level of spice in a regular romance is up too late. Okay, they're kissing, they're making out, and then they go behind a closed door and the door shuts, and that's it. You don't know what else is going on in the room. Like you assume that they were in the room having sex, but it's not talked about. An erotic romance book, it goes into details. Like you go in the room with them and you get to see and hear what's going on in the bedroom. And even that ranges as far as how much is being shown and how much is not being shown. Because like mine, I talk about it, like I try to show the whole situation going on, and but I don't do like, or so far in this one anyway, there's not like a bunch of like BDSM or that kind of stuff. So you can even get up to the rougher, more in depth when it comes to that kind of lifestyles. So it just really depends on what level your erotica is at.
Yeah. Now, when you were starting off, I know you had mentioned you written your first book and the one that you kind of put aside. But is this a genre that you had always wanted to write in, or did you start
Yes.
off writing a sci-fi book and then ended up sci-fi erotica?
Actually, I started off writing the erotica scenes before it became a book. um, but yeah, because so for one, sex has always been one of those things that people have a hard time talking about. And then two, women have even a harder time because we're always told, oh, you shouldn't talk about those things. That's not polite or that's not ladylike. But then on top of that, my main character is a plus size woman. And she's very strong, independent. She knows who she is, and she's very secure in herself and what she looks like. And so she doesn't care if one of the main male characters is standing there staring at her while she's naked. Like it doesn't bother her. She's okay with those kind of things. And I wanted to write stuff like that so that other plus size women out there can see and have, you know I guess sort of kind of like role models to look at and be like, well, if this character can do it, then I can do it too. Like I can be independent and strong and love myself and be settled in my own sexuality and that kind of stuff.
Cool. That's pretty good. Now let us know about your writing environment when you write. Do you listen to music? And if you do, what
Most of,
kind?
most of the time I do. It's rock usually. I am definitely a rock girl. Sometimes the heavier the better. I don't know why, it just works.
It goes with the apocalyptic theme, probably.
Yeah, I think so. Well, I've always been a heavier rock person to begin with, but yeah, when I'm writing, a lot of times it just really helps with that.
Oh, hello, Totoro.
That's Kittle.
That's Kittle. Oh, darn. I usually can get them right.
Yeah. Felicity's the easy one now since she's all red. So
Yeah, she's totally easy. Um, Yeah. Now, do you find that if you're writing a spicy scene, you have to have different music on? Is there a
Um,
particular song or album you like to listen to when you're writing your spicy
Sometimes,
scenes?
yeah. Sometimes I just go straight into it and I don't realize what's on there. But then sometimes if I put on like Take Me to Church or Closer or um what oh Sex and Candy, some of those
Mm.
like they'll help you kind of get in that spicy mood and they'll help lend itself to the atmosphere to write it. And sometimes when I'm stuck, I'll go like watch 50 Shades of Grey or I'll go find some other like kind of spicy movie and put it on, and that way it kind of puts you in the mood. Or I'll go listen to one of my other books that's in the same genre, so that way I can kind of get in that mood and get out of that stuck of like, where do I want to go with this scene.
Mhm.
Now, if somebody has never read sci-fi erotica before, um, where would where would you point them to start? Is there a particular author you would say check out their books or
um there's a author called Ruby Lyons Drake. She does a series called the Star Guardian series, and it was the first one that I really read. And it's sci-fi. It's not quite erotica. It's a little bit more to the romance because you don't get to go in the bedroom with them. But in some of the scenes, they are a little hot and heavy when they're making out. So it kind of balances that line right there. But it was a good series to kind of get started with like understanding if you're not too big of a sci-fi person, which I am. I love sci-fi. But if you're not too into the sci-fi genre, it's a good series to start with because you get a lot of the like the romance and the guys protecting the girls and that kind of stuff, which is what a lot of romance readers like. But then you get the sci-fi side because they're in space, they're on spaceships. You get the technology because they have really advanced technology in the book, and so you get a lot of that. And then you could kind of move into some of the other ones out there, like mine, or there was another one I saw, and I can't. It's escaping my brain right now, but it was another like sci-fi style, and so yeah, that's what
Is
I would say.
sci-fi big in the erotic
It is not.
universe? I was gonna say, because if I think of romance, I'm thinking pirates, and I'm thinking maybe like what's that? The
cowboys?
Outlander,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Outlander, and maybe like knights, and that's about it. I was wondering if that's kind of the same way with
Yeah.
So
erotica, or is
what I've
erotica more contemporary, like secretaries and office workers and that kind of stuff?
Well, really, there's a lot of big genre for erotica in the shifter vampire
Okay,
type
that
tropes.
makes sense.
and aliens.
And aliens, yes. And that's really kind of what I thought the Star Guardians might be. So I was kind of like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this one because I kind of don't like the alien and the girl kind of thing.
Hmm.
But it turned out to be way better than I thought it was gonna be. And also there's a lot of fae erotica out there
Mhm.
with
That makes
fairies.
sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I read Patricia Briggs, and so you get that shifter, but it's if it's anything, it's just very soft romance. There's not
yeah,
anything crazy with that. It's more
yeah,
about the magic and
right,
the vampires and stuff than it is about the, you know, sexing it up or any of that stuff. So
right. So
Yeah.
there's another author called Kim Grasso, and she does a big shifter vampire series called The Immortals of New Orleans, and they are pretty heavy into the sex part of it. And then another author called Suzanne Wright. She does a whole bunch of different eroticas. She has a vampire series. She has a demon series. She has a witch one that just came out, and then she does three shifter series: Phoenix Pack, Mercury Pack, and the Olympus Pride. And so she's one of my favorites. I read her all the time, and actually her books are kind of some of the ones that inspired me to like, you know what? If she can do this, I can do this too. but put the people that I want to see into the books, like plus size women. And like the first character, she's an older woman, she's in her 40s in my first book, but just those strong women, plus size characters.
Nice.
Okay.
So we have your the cover of your book, Treacherous Heavens here. Gotta go back. Going the wrong way. There we go.
That's our new theme.
Yeah. Going the wrong way because I did that in
Happened
the
on the
last.
list. Yeah.
So yeah, I really like this cover. Who did the cover for you?
Her name is Martina. She's part of my publishing company. Her and I sat down, went back and forth a couple of different times until we came up with this cover. Because I didn't want it to be too cheesy, old school sci-fi looking. So I was like, nah, I need something a little more contemporary. We came up with this.
Nice. Yeah, it's beautiful. So we already discussed a little bit about what this is. When did this get released?
September.
September of last year. So it's a fairly new release.
Yeah.
You said there's a sequel in the works?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Nice. How's that going?
I'm on chapter 22 right now.
Okay. All right.
I'm almost to the end, but it seems like the end keeps getting further and further away as I keep writing.
Yeah, I definitely get that. So
that's a trap you fall into.
Yes, yes, it is.
Is your plan to have the second one ready for AuthorCon? July?
I'm hoping. Like I said, I'm very, very close to the end, and I'm hoping to get it finished up in the next couple of weeks. I'm part of a writing group called Happy Writers, and we're doing like a March Nano Write-Mo type challenge right now. And so I'm hoping to use that momentum to get this finished up in the next couple of weeks so that way I can get it printed out, go through it, make changes that I need to make, find those rabbit holes that need to be taken out, that kind of stuff, and then get it sent off to the publisher so we can start editing.
Very nice.
Very cool.
Fingers crossed you can get that.
Now, you said you had other books out. Do you
No,
have?
I don't yet.
Okay, not yet. Just you have them worked up.
Yeah, I have several sitting in the sidelines waiting to get worked up a little better.
Gotcha.
Nice. We'll definitely keep an eye out for the second series because I actually put Treacherous Heavens on my to be read list, and I'm hoping to get to it before Texas AuthorCon.
Well, I appreciate it.
If anybody can, Donna can. She reads like she flies through books. So
I do.
Well,
so
I can get them on Audible, but when I have to sit down and read the physical copy, it takes me a little while.
Yeah, see, I can't do Audible. I just totally space out and don't even listen. I have to read. So not only are you an author and you'll be at Texas AuthorCon and Book Festival, but you're also the official Texas AuthorCon TikTok guru.
I am.
And you are doing an amazing job. I love the videos that you've put up so far. So Eric, if you haven't sent stuff over to Michelle, like some book cover images and maybe a picture of yourself, you can send them over to her and she'll make you a nice video, which she'll post on the TikTok.
Yeah, I saw the word, whatever the post or the email we got. So I've been working on trying to get it together. Got to find a good picture though, right? So
they're all good pictures. You can get the picture of you and your goat man there that Kim made you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or get all the doggies around you and take a picture.
Yeah, probably like the one I put on Facebook today where all you can see is my feet and the dogs because I'm on a hammock and they're mauling me. So that's probably the best picture.
Well, I was looking, I'm like, where are you? And then I saw your shoes.
Yeah, Dawn was staring out the window trying to figure out what they were doing. And then she realized I was at the bottom of the pile as they were trying to kick me out of the hammock.
Yeah, it's too funny. So yeah, Michelle, you're doing a great job with the TikTok. And I know Merrill appreciates it because he's not very techno savvy, I guess we'll say.
Yeah. Well, he seemed like he needed some help. So I was like, I can do it. I'm doing my own. And then I'm doing the one for my day job. I was like, I can hop in and help with this one. It won't take any more time to hop in and help with it.
Yeah, it's very cool of you. So I know we appreciate that.
Yeah. Is there any particular author you're looking forward to meeting at Texas AuthorCon?
Um, I don't know everybody's stuff yet. I'm still trying to look up everybody and see, who's doing what. Um, I had started and then I got sidetracked. So I need to sit down and really like look up everybody and see what they're writing and that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. Because
I,
this is real, everybody is new to me. I don't know
right.
all you guys yet.
And that's how I kind of did it last year. It was kind of fun just to walk around and just see all the cool tables and all the different genres. And when we
Right.
started it the first year, it was primarily horror. We had a couple fantasy, but that was it. And then
Yeah.
it just ballooned the second year. And the third year, it's getting even bigger. So, and there's going to be so many different genres. I think it's really cool.
I was excited about that too because I had seen some of the first one and I did see a lot of horror. That's why I was like, well, what like genres do y'all have there? And he was like, we'll take anybody. I was like, all right then.
Yeah, Meryl's very cool with that, all that
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, just those horror people, they're crazy.
But I didn't realize so many of y'all resided right here in Texas with me.
Yeah.
Pretty much every author I've met so far, like out at an event, has been a horror author.
Yeah, I'm in Massachusetts, so I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So besides coming to Texas AuthorCon and Book Festival and stopping by your table, where can they people find Treacherous Heavens?
You can find it on just about anywhere that sells a paperback copy or ebooks. So Ingram Spark, Barnes and Nobles, which I have a book signing coming up with them in April at my local one down the road. Um, Amazon, or if you are strictly an ebook person, you can find me on ecstasybooks.com, which is my publisher's website. And they do strictly ebooks. But yeah, I mean, anywhere pretty much you can buy a book from, you can find me.
Nice.
Cool.
Do you have your own website or?
I do. It's Riddy and Kane Books and Arts at wordpress.com
We'll
or
put a link. We'll put a link below.
wordpress.com.
Yeah. Okay,
um,
cool.
yeah, so in there you can see a lot of my short stories on my website. And then some other blogs that I do. I have a mom to or an angel mom blog, and I have like some recipes and just different things that I thought would be fun just throw out there for people who are always kind of looking for new things.
Mm. Nice. Well, we'll put links to those in the description, as well as a link to the Eventbrite, so that people can go and get tickets. So yeah, it's been a pleasure talking with you, and we will see you in a few months, 4 months, something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
3 or 4
Yep.
maybe.
It'll be here before we know it.
I
Yes,
know.
yes, it will.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it and can't wait to see everybody.
Take
Yeah.
it easy.